Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday Pub again, because it's Sunday. I hope everyone has had a good week. If you don't know what this is, if you're coincidentally here for the first time, I run this every Sunday at the same time. I invite a bunch of people and we just see who turns up. It's different people every week. And sometimes it's just me, and sometimes it's 8 people on the screen. And we chat about bookish things and other nerdery. K2's here. Good to see you. Zakanak is here. Good to see you too. Peter's here. Hi, Peter. Good to see you on the Fireside Discord. I saw that you joined. Welcome. Jerome is here. G'day, Jerome. And Ursa's here. If you're here, at least say hi in the chat, or I will kick you. No, I won't kick you. But it's nice to know who's here. Rogue's here. I understand some people like to lurk and not be known and just quietly observe and listen and watch. That's fine. But it's nice to know who's there. K-Hod's here. Good to see ya. So how has everybody's week been? Tell me in the chat how your week has been. I'm, as usual, I never know who's going to join. I usually send out, 10 to 15 invites on Saturday or Sunday, and we just see who joins. Usually people write me back. If I invite someone, they usually write me back to tell me they can't make it. But very rarely does someone write back to say they can make it. So I have no idea who's going to be here this week or if anyone is going to join me on screen. I got a number of no's, can't make it because, but I didn't get anybody saying yes. Hi, Marianne. Good to see you here. Thank God Ida is not here. We wouldn't want to have a Sunday pub with Ida here. Thornall's here. Good to see you. Thornall's always here. I would be very worried somehow if we had a Sunday pub and Thornall didn't show up. Sorry to hear that you had a not so great week this week, Thornall. But yeah, the Sunday pub does always make it a bit better. It does the same for me. Cheryl, tuning in from Cornwall in the UK. How are you, Cheryl? I think this is the first time you're here, or at least the first time I remember seeing a comment from you. If it's your very first time here, welcome. Even if it's not your very first time here, welcome. Jerome has also had a crap week. Yay! Work stress. Awesome. That sounds excellent, Jerome. I'm very happy for you. Well, I'm happy that it's the weekend and that work stress is at least on pause for a little while. Zakanak writing 2 large academic papers for grad school. Congratulations on the new job. Yeah, getting hired for a new job is awesome. I am also in a job search mode phase right now. And I would really like to get hired for a new job sometime soonish. Osa has had a good week, but busy. Oh, okay. You were on vacation, so that makes for a better week. Well, at least you've got 1 week left of vacation. And if I remember right, also you are a school teacher, I think. And I guess you're going back to screaming children and whatnot. Derry's here. Why is Derry not on screen? I don't know. I invited Derry to join me on screen. Maybe she will later. We'll see. Rikut is here. Good to see you. Rogue, looking forward to next week because of a bank holiday and then annual leave. Oh, that sounds good. Having some time off is awesome. Peter posted about his bunny being very ill. Good to hear. So the bunny is doing much better. Yeah, people were worried about Peter's bunny, who was a bit sick and had to go to the vet, but better. Uh-oh, Ida is actually here. Oh, well. There goes the pub. You didn't really miss anything, Ida. I've just been saying hello to people. Yes, also, I remember correctly that you're a teacher and your students are teenagers, but that does not mean they're not screaming children, does it? I mean, I haven't been in a classroom full of teenagers probably since I was a teenager, but I remember a lot of screaming. Derry is apparently still in bed, despite the alarm going off half an hour ago. Well, get the fuck out of bed, Derry. I mean, no, if you're cozy in bed, that's actually a nice place to stay. I totally understand that. I won't blame anyone for staying in bed, especially since it's like 6 a.m. in New Zealand, where Derry is. I went yesterday and I saw Superman again, a second time. I have a friend who hadn't seen it, and she wanted to see it, so I said, "Yeah, sure, I'd love to see it," and it's worth it. It is a movie to watch multiple times. I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. Like, if you like superhero movies at all, I think you would probably enjoy Superman. It's I've said it before, but I will keep saying it. I am a fan of optimistic, hopeful, non-cynical media, and it seems like there's more of it. It's maybe I kind of personally, I kind of connect it somehow to the pandemic in my head. That after the pandemic, a lot of people were inspired to do something more hopeful and positive and cheerful and that kind of thing. And Superman definitely falls into that category. Man of Steel, the previous Superman movie with Henry Cavill as Superman, I thought he was a great Superman, but I thought the movie overall was just dark and kind of ugly. And I don't, that to me is like the opposite of what Superman is or should be. Dan is here. Good to see you, man. You're also welcome to come on screen. I think I sent you a link. Understandable if you can't, but if you'd like to, you're welcome. Yes, teenagers are loud. Yeah. I remember that correctly then. Rogue has been we were commenting in an old YouTube video of mine about Empire of the Vampire. So Rogue read some great stuff other than Empire of the Vampire, which he didn't enjoy that much. Finished Spear Cuts Through Water. Spear Cuts Through Water is just such a good book. I think it's definitely a not necessarily for everyone kind of book, because it does some really weird things with structure and perspectives and stuff like that. I can imagine that some people might have a hard time getting into it, but I loved it. I've read it twice in about a year, and it was really, really good. Derry says, I've convinced her to get out of bed, so she'll join me on screen shortly. Cool. Naked Gun. Yeah, that kind of humor has never really been my thing. I think I saw the first one and didn't really love it. That kind of silly humor has never really been my thing. When I was younger, I was definitely always more into British humor, a lot of which I think is a lot smarter than American humor. Now all of the Americans in the audience can get pissed off at me, but I always watched Monty Python stuff and Faulty Towers and, British humor, and enjoyed that a lot more than a lot of American humor. So I'm not really drawn to see Zach and Ack also said it was a worthwhile hour and 25 minutes. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Also, this may just be a completely unfounded judgment on my part, but when I think Liam Neeson, I do not think humor. And I'm just very skeptical about him being a comedy lead. I don't know. Spear Cuts Through Water, one of the best books Rogue has read all year. Yeah, it was my book of the year 2 years ago. Definitely an awesome book, unquestionably. I recommend, I don't think it's for everyone, but I recommend that everybody at least try it. Highly, highly recommend it. Peter picked up an Aquaman omnibus by Jeff Johns. Okay. I picked it up as a reread. Aquaman has always struck me as kind of one of those, like, I don't know. I've always thought of Aquaman as a superhero in search of a reason to actually exist. I'm just like, if your story isn't in water or near water, then Aquaman is kind of useless. And most stories take place on land. So I've always been kind of like you can only write a very specific kind of story and have Aquaman at all involved in it. He seems like one of the most useless superheroes ever created to me. But yeah. Um, Thornall getting philosophical. If you read a lot, you could consider bad books being way smarter than they actually are. I'm not sure I understand what you mean. I'm obviously not way smarter than I actually am. Um, if you read a lot, you could consider bad books being way smarter than they actually are. I'd still, even after 2 attempts, I don't understand what you mean. Thornall. Um, remaking Naked Gun is a bold move. Yeah, yeah, it is. Although it was really big, at least in America, I think it was a very successful movie. The original back in the day. Um, yeah. Also, Rogue and I were talking about this a bit. Derry swears that I will like Empire of the Vampire because I'm Australian, and because the edgelordiness of it is apparently very tongue in cheek, and the humor is an extremely like Australian Kiwi style of humor that I would probably really like. I've seen an interview, like Mike from Mike's book reviews did an interview, or actually two, I think now, with Jay Kristoff, the author, and I immediately thought I want to have a beer with him. I just liked him as a guy a lot immediately. He reminds me of a lot of my good friends in Australia. But I keep having not read it, having not even tried it, I keep having a very strong intuitive feeling that Empire of the Vampire would not be my thing. Yeah. I don't know. Where do I stand on Mel Brooks? Actually, back in the day, a long time ago, back when Mel Brooks was regularly making movies, there were some that I thought were pretty funny, like Blazing Saddles. Um, some of his humor is very intelligent. A lot of his humor is fart jokes, and I I always found his movies very inconsistent for me because there'd be a quite an intelligent joke, and then a couple of really stupid jokes, and another one that was a bit more intelligent, and another couple that were really stupid, and it's just kind of up and down for me. I don't know. Um, oh, okay. So if he's called Aquaman, why is he powerful on land? I mean, I can understand him being really strong or something, but aren't most of his powers kind of to do with like telling fish to do shit and that kind of thing? I don't know. I've just never been into Aquaman. Also, I always thought his costume was stupid, but yeah, no, you're right, Rogue. I mean, considering that Leslie Nielsen was not a comic actor, really, apart from the Naked Gun films, casting Liam Neeson is kind of perfect. Not to mention that both of their names are LN, so that also works perfectly. Um, currently reading Recurt is currently reading Congo by Michael Crichton. I've never read any Michael Crichton. Obviously, I've seen movies that were based on his novels, but oh wait, I think I did read a Michael Crichton a long time ago. Ida, that has got to be almost your hottest of all hot takes ever. There are definitely such things as bad books. Uh, maybe not objectively, universally bad, but I have read books that I certainly thought were very bad. Okay. What Thornall meant earlier, you could see a dumb line or a bad decision as being actually smart because you overthink them. Yeah, I think overthinking is a great thing to avoid. Finnegan's Wake, as a reply to Ida saying there's no such thing as bad books. Yeah, I would agree with you. I think there are a lot of snobby literature people who would not agree with you, Peter. But um, I actually tried to read Finnegan's Wake and I DNF'd it pretty quickly. It was awful. Yeah, yeah. Um, Also, I'm really sorry to hear that Spaceballs was your intro to Star Wars. I saw Star Wars when I was 9 years old in cinema when it first came out. The first movie. Well, the first movie that came out, the fourth movie in the story chronology. Um, and I've been a Star Wars fan ever since. Thornall, this is a fact. Aquaman is the lesser Submariner because he has no tiny ankle wings. Yeah, I always kind of wondered why the Submariner had ankle wings. If he had ankle fins, that would make sense, but he has ankle wings. And he spends almost his entire life underwater where wings are not a thing. So, what's up with that? Asking the important questions here on the Sunday Pub. Snobby literature people, as far as I'm concerned, are often wrong. But being a not snobby literature person, of course I would say that. Yeah. Friends don't let friends read Joyce. It's a good thing that Micah from the Fireside Discord never joins the Sunday Pub because Micah is a big Joyce fan and thinks Ulysses is one of the best things since sliced bread, or probably even better than that. And I don't get it. I mean, I think Joyce, not knowing that much about him, having only DNF'd 2 of his books, I think Joyce was doing some interesting things that maybe hadn't been done before or hadn't been done in that way before. Like he was experimenting. And I'm a big fan of experimentation. But I like books that are kind of experimental, like The Spear Cuts Through Water, that are also enjoyable books and good stories. And it seems to me that Finnegan's Wake and Ulysses were maybe experimental and creative in that sense, but the experimentation was so either so experimental or so overdone or whatever that it didn't, that you have to fight with the book to actually get anything good out of it. That it went beyond being a good story. So yeah, Usa is younger than me, as many people are. And Star Wars came out the year she was born. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. It was retconned that the wings on Submariner's ankles are because he's a mutant. Okay. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Whatever. Yeah. I have not been reading that many comics lately. I read the Bendis run of Daredevil. I have the 2 hardback omnibuy, and read those a couple of weeks ago. But I just recently, because of the movie Superman, I ordered Superman: A Man for All Seasons, which is one of the comic book runs of Superman that the movie is kind of based on, influenced by. And I already have All Star Superman, which is one of the other ones that influenced the movie heavily. And I also bought Supergirl. I forget what the run is called. There's a particular run of it which is bound up in a trade paperback. Because Supergirl is briefly, she has like a cameo in the Superman movie, and there is going to be a Supergirl movie, and it's based on largely this particular comic run. And I ordered both of those, and they should be here maybe tomorrow. Wings and fins aren't all that different, except that they are made to move in 2 extremely different media, water and air, or air and water. And I don't think wings work really well underwater. I don't know. No, they weren't. They weren't winged shoes. They actually grew out of his ankles. They are part of his feet or ankles. They're like on the outside of his ankles, kind of where that knob of bone is, that ankle bone. Yeah, they are proper. Yes, Peter. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Mercury who? Mercury the god. Mercury Hermes, as Thornall says. Yeah, Mercury had winged sandals, but he could take them off and the wings went with them. Namor, the Submariner, actually has wings growing out of his ankles. Rogue is reading All-Star Superman. I really liked it. I bought it a while ago and read it and really liked it. And I'm looking forward to Superman, Man of All Seasons. And my Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow is also in the post. Yeah, actually, I've got this really annoying problem. There's a delivery company, DPD, and anytime anything I order gets shipped by DPD, they don't even come into my building. They just drop it off at a mobile phone repair store, which is a registered DPD drop-off shop. They just take it straight there and drop it off. And I never get a note in my mail. They never even attempt to deliver it. And I ordered Superman, Man for All Seasons, and Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. They were meant to be delivered here. They got dropped off at the mobile repair shop. I didn't get any kind of notification, so I never went and picked it up, and it got sent back. Really annoying. Really annoying. And Supergirl in the movie, in the Superman movie, is indeed played by that girl from that actress from House of the Dragon. I forget the actress's name, but speaking of actresses, here's Dan.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yeah, man.
All right, great.
Did
I
you?
figured you were going solo there for a minute, so I figured if I have a few moments, I'd hop on with you.
Yeah. Pleasure. Good to see you. Do you
Thanks for having me.
just trim your beard?
Yes,
It
very
was
much
a
so.
lot bushier, yeah.
Yeah, we had an accident in the bathroom where
An accident.
the setting all of a sudden adjusted as I was shaving and cleaning myself up, and then I had like a bald spot right here. And I tried to do stuff, a comb over, a beard comb over, and it didn't work. So it all had to go, unfortunately.
Okay.
Um,
And
yeah.
look who else it is. It's a sleepy dairy.
Hi.
Hey.
Ida remembers. Millie Alcock. Yes, thank you, Ida. Millie Alcock played the young Rhaenyra Targaryen in House of the Dragon and was awesome. And she is playing Supergirl. Not only Supergirl, but drunk Supergirl.
Okay, I like the sound of that.
The really general idea of the comic of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, is that she's got trauma, which I won't go into because it's kind of spoilers, but she's got trauma, and she spends a lot of her time flying to planets where there is a red sun because the yellow sun of Earth and similar suns heal Kryptonians, right? So Superman, Supergirl are incapable of getting drunk on Earth because there's a yellow sun. So she goes to red sun planets to party and get wasted because there's a red sun, not a yellow sun. So she turns up in the
more efficient.
Well, possible. Like in a yellow sun, it's just not possible. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting movie. I think the Supergirl movie. Looking forward to it. And they didn't put her in a stupid little girly costume either. Like there have been a lot of there have been a lot of like female superhero costumes with like cut down to here and the shortest possible skirt and all of that sort of stuff. And she didn't look like that. It was cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. How are you two doing?
I got out.
Yeah, Derek.
Derry got out of bed.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Apparently, I needed just that matter of fact. Well, get out of bed then. It made me laugh, and yeah, I was like, okay, okay.
Glad I could give you a kick.
Yeah, because I haven't had the greatest of times, but hopefully things will improve.
Excellent.
That's what we're here for. Good to see you, Dan.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, things are all right. When I don't really have nothing to do today, so now I'm stuck in the house and stuck reading all day. So I'm kind of happy with that. But it's a beautiful day. I had this demon in my head, just like, why are you here reading? Like, go outside, dude. Go get a tan. Go do something. And I'm like, nah. I'm content with my Haruki Murakami book I'm trying to wrap up here. It went off in a total direction I did not want it to go, but he's still a pretty damn good writer.
Which one are you reading?
Wind Up Bird Chronicle. First 50% of the book, I loved it. Yep. And then all of a sudden, something occurred. It went in this a really weird direction. And I'm not feeling. There's one part of this direction at the end that I kind of like. It's like a soldier's story that really has, the lines he drops are just fantastic. He's a beautiful writer, and there's no questioning that. But some of his choices, there are definitely questions involved.
Yeah, he's a very. I mean, I haven't read anything by him in a long time, but I remember when I did read a lot of. I had a phase where it was just like, okay, I'm going to read all of his stuff. And he's really mixed because like you said, he's a beautiful writer. He's definitely a prose master, and he just writes some beautiful lines, which also is credit to like the translator, that it really comes across in English. But I remember the Wind Up Bird Chronicle, and I remember also getting to a point where I was like, what the fuck is going on now?
Yeah, totally.
Where are we?
And it's getting like monotonous, like it's he just drones into the story, and like a lot of his books are about connection and things with other people, and it's like this small connection or something that'll change the course of somebody's life, another person's life, or just a mentioning of something, sticking in somebody's subconscious and coming out in a different way. It's he's very interesting, but some of the storyline choices, you're just like, where can we go back to this part I was so intrigued with, rather than I think I'm in a point where this guy's trying to find himself, and it's not. It's just very weird.
He's very much. I mean, one of the themes that he gets into constantly is coincidence.
Yeah, that's exactly
random things affecting people's lives. So of course, his books can be kind of random because a random thing happens and the story goes off that way, and you're like, I did not see this coming. Peter, you have identified one of the great ways of identifying good literature or movies or anything. If the misogynists hate it, it probably is actually pretty good. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward. He's talking about Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, the comic run, and I'm hopefully getting it tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to it. Actually, what happened, Thornall, is Derry mirrored herself, and I unmirrored her again, because when you're mirrored, all your books are backwards. So, I mean, I can mirror you again if you want, Derry.
No, that's fine. I was just discovering settings.
You were just clicking around. Yeah. No, well, I saw it flip and I was like, I can't read the books in the background anymore.
Fair enough.
And
I do want to correct Bex that saying that you're sick when you're depressed is allowed, because that's true.
Yes, it is. Depression isn't just a bad mood.
Not sickness.
It is that's why we call it mental health.
Real thing.
Yeah, because it's.
I've been feeling it the last few weeks. Good.
Me too.
Maybe it was even, I don't know. Yeah, I've been feeling that depression bug for a minute now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Probably why I'm, trying to tell myself to go outside, and I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna stay here and read. I'm comfortable. I don't want to go nowhere. I don't want to see people.
I would say one thing. Sunlight is actually good for depression.
Yes.
And you can read and be in the sun at the same time, Dan.
The thing is I am, unfortunately, like when I was born, I came out with a full chest of hair, and all this, it was on me when I came out, so when I go outside, I'm going to start reading and I'm going to start getting hot, and then the sweat's going to get into my eyes and one eye's going to burn, but I'm going to be in a good part. So I'm going to let it burn and I'm going to keep reading until another piece of sweat falls into the other eye. And next thing you know, like I'm just soaked. So it's comfortable right in here. You know what I mean? I can stay in my chair, put on my my headset, and just go do the immersive style.
To the window and open the curtain.
I know the feeling. I'm the same way. But when it's really nice outside, I'll go out. I'll get sun on this side. I'll turn over and get sun on the other side, and then go back in. Maybe only half an hour, but it's always nice.
No. Partly it's living in New Zealand where the sun is actually dangerous, but I am more likely to avoid going outside in the summer than I am in the winter because I burn so easily. So,
I have to remind myself, as an Australian, that I don't live in Australia anymore, and I can actually go out in the sun.
Yeah,
like the sun in Germany is piss weak.
Yeah, living down here, it's different. The sun works different.
Yes,
yeah.
Totally.
It will burn you.
When I used to travel a lot with groups of Buddhists, we'd have people that would come over, like our teacher would come over to Australia, and a bunch of Europeans would come over. And they're like, first of all, traveling with our Lama, that's exciting, but they're like, I'm on holidays in Australia. And we go to the beach, and all of them, like Germans and Eastern Europeans and whatever, they'd all run out into the sand and throw their towels down and lay down, and all of the Australians would go over to the side of the beach where there were trees and hide in the shade.
Yeah.
And all the Germans would come over and they're like, why are you not in the sun? And we're like, because the sun will kill you in Australia. You are going to be so regretting it tonight when you can't lay down on your back.
Yeah. And it's it burns you almost from the inside. It's a bit like a microwave. You can be really badly burnt and not have it show up until hours later.
Yeah.
It kind of comes up from underneath, and oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found out the hard way the first time I visited Hawaii. I found out the hard way. I was like, I'm tan. I'm a he. We spent like 400 years in the desert, so I got a little bit of a color here. I went out and took my shirt off for only 2 hours in Honolulu, and I regretted it the whole trip. That was the first time in my life I was like, you know what, I'm going to do? I'm going to do sunblock. I think it's the time now to do, because I grew up in an ocean town, and I spent summers without a shirt on, and the beach and things like that. So I thought I was good until I went down below. Closer to that equator, that sun is no joke.
Really
and then in Australia,
the end of my street a few years ago, literally, it was a couple of 100 meters and got burnt. In the time it took me to walk to the end of the street to get to the big tree, so I could stand in the shade. And
in Australia and New Zealand, there is literally a hole in the ozone layer. And the sun, it's not the equator in this case. It's like UV just comes straight through. There is no filter, and you get the hell burned out of you. I'm quarter Puerto Rican, so I've actually got kind of olivish skin.
Oh yeah,
I tan really well, But I am very careful in Australia. Like here, it doesn't matter. Like I'll go out, I'll be like lightly pink today and brown tomorrow, and it's fine, But Australia, I've had blisters. Like I went snorkeling once, and I had put on sunscreen and everything, but I went snorkeling, so face down, back exposed for hours because I was so fascinated. Oh, look at all the fish and the coral.
Yeah,
and
that's what I did in Hawaii. Mm-hmm.
I was laying on my stomach for days.
Yeah.
It was so unpleasant. Not good at all.
What do you stay inside with the curtains drawn, and if there is any around the world, I will watch the cricket, because that's totally what you do.
That's something I've never understood. Watching cricket.
It's
I
watch baseball and read because it's very slow.
Baseball happens though. Like cricket is baseball, but it takes 3 days.
5 if you're lucky.
Yeah,
you just
5
3 days.
Literally one game, 5 days long.
Yeah, but it's crazy. A mental game. It's great. It's the battle, and it's exciting if you know what the rules are. The rules are very complicated, granted. But when things happen in cricket, it can genuinely be life and death. There have been people who have died on the field playing cricket. It's a dangerous game. I think
they throw the ball fastest than anybody.
Yeah, the cricket ball, you don't want a cricket ball. And the other thing is the ball is almost literally made out of concrete. Like the balls are so hard.
It's got a wooden inside, and then you've got the string, and then it's hard leather, and they don't wear gloves.
Yeah.
And that's the most horrific on-screen injury I saw with cricket, because they don't wear gloves. And it was a diving catch. We're diving, hands outstretched, and we get just these 2 fingers catch the ground.
Yeah, the only way I could enjoy cricket when I was in Australia was a bunch of my mates and I would go to the cricket ground, and there is like one side of the stadium is seats under a covered, like a big awning, and the other side is the lawn, and it's basically just sort of a slight hill of grass. Yeah. And you go to the grass, you take a bunch of food, you take a cooler with a bunch of beer, and you get drunk.
Yeah.
And you watch the cricket 5 minutes out of every hour.
Yeah, I'm lucky.
So you're just hanging out with your mates and drinking beer, and then you're like, oh, something happened. Oh, look at that. Okay, cool. And then you keep drinking.
Because we have the Basin Reserve, which is one of the oldest cricket grounds in the world. But it's a roundabout. It's literally an enormous roundabout that just happens to have a cricket pitch in the middle. But they actually had to ban a few years back what had become a tradition in New Zealand for test matches, which was people carrying old sofas to go and put on the banks to watch the game on, because then no one wanted to carry it home because you were drunk now, and people would then burn their sofas. We were not allowed to take a sofa to the cricket anymore, which is sad.
Peter, do not judge all of Australia by a visit to Cairns. First of all, Cairns is way north. So way north means way hot. It's like much hotter than anywhere else. It's also tropical because it's basically a jungle up there. So it's really humid. And it is not representative of so much of Australia. Also, it depends a lot on what time of year you go. I always say to people, never go to Australia in the summer.
Oh,
like the Australian summer. You want to, because if you live in Europe or America, it's winter, right?
Yeah,
so you want to go on holidays.
The idea that summer is better, not in Australia.
No. Go in early spring and it's beautiful if you're in the south of Australia. If you're in Melbourne and Sydney and maybe Perth, but Perth is kind of a shithole, honestly. But yeah, if you go to like Sydney, Melbourne, that whole area around there, it's gorgeous in early spring.
Yeah.
But Cairns in summer, no, thank you. I want to go to New Zealand not only to visit Derry, but also because Middle Earth is New Zealand. So there's all sorts of really expensive tours and stuff you can do. I want to visit Hobbiton.
Yes, they're expensive, but by the time you've come to New Zealand, you'd be daft not to. And
of course,
they're amazing.
Yeah.
Like they're actually amazing, and it's really cool.
I recently I recently discovered a guy. What's his channel called? I can't remember. It's not Nerd of the Ring. Or actually, it might be Nerd of the Rings.
Okay.
He does every kind of like Tolkien, Middle Earth content you can imagine. He collects the props from the movies and does unboxings. He does things on the video games, things on the books, things on the movies, things on whatever. You know, he does all this stuff. And he got invited by Weta to come and do a tour of Hobbiton.
Yes.
And of course did a long video touring Hobbiton, drinking ale in the pub there and all of that.
The Green Dragon Inn is the most phenomenal place to visit. It is mind-bogglingly brilliant. It really is. And Bex, that's Australia. I'm in New Zealand. Nothing here wants to kill you, except the sun.
The sun might want to kill you, but New Zealand is actually animal-wise very safe. Everything in Australia wants to kill you. Actually, it doesn't want to kill you if you are not an idiot. No, if you are not an idiot, you won't have any trouble.
To be fair, I did live there for a little while, and the only problem I had with wildlife was a massive freaking dinosaur lizard thing decided to take up residence in front of my washing machine. So that was a grotty couple of weeks because I was like, if that's where they want to sit, that's fine. I'm not going to challenge that.
Was it a monitor or what was it?
A dinosaur. It was.
If it was a really big dinosaurish lizard, it was probably a monitor, and they're completely harmless.
It was still scary.
Yeah, they're big. I mean, they might give you a bite.
They move oddly fast.
Yeah,
like you expect it to be slow, but it's really not. Yeah.
Our bears are scarier than yours. You know,
we don't have any bears. We don't have any bears.
Koalas in Australia.
Koalas are not bears.
To be fair, they are oddly scary.
Koalas are oddly scary, but they are not bears. We don't have.
We got you on the bears. You guys got us on the fish and the spiders,
the sharks,
maybe the
jellyfish,
snakes,
and the snakes, and
the jellyfish and the snakes. Right.
In many years of living in Australia, the only close call I ever had with any animal that was dangerous was not a jellyfish. It was a red-bellied black snake, and this was my fault, totally my fault. I was hiking. First of all, I was hiking by myself, which is a bad idea. Second, I wanted to get across a dry riverbed, and there were these huge boulders, like really big boulders. Yep. And I was like, well, going over the boulders is going to be easier than trying to get around and underneath and between them. So I climbed up on one of the boulders, and I was jumping from boulder to boulder. And I had a good momentum up. So I was just like bounce, 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 bounce. And I was midair, and I saw that on the boulder I was about to land on was a red-bellied black snake sunning itself. And that would have killed me. If it had bitten me, I would have died because I was too far away from him. And there was nobody else to help me. So, and I managed to like almost break my ankle and land next to it.
Yeah.
And it was more scared than I was, because I completely surprised it. So it reeled back, moved away from me, and then went up like this. And I had momentum, so I just jumped to the next boulder and then stopped and was like, okay.
I nearly died.
That was close. But yeah. I would not worry about. Generally, like if you're not being an idiot in nature, there's nothing to worry about.
And I do usually live by that motto. But it's still, there's just so many things in Australia you need to be aware of that, you're like, no, just be sensible. But the number of things you have to do to be sensible, it's like remembering to put your boots upside down and just
shutting your tent
and just
shaking out your sleeping bag. These are these are standard things that you learn as a kid.
Just a lot. And I imagine if you're not doing them on a regularly ingrained habit thing, it would be easy to miss one. And
and if you're doing a culture tour, if you're not an outdoorsy person and you're doing a culture tour of Australia, zero to worry about ever, anywhere. Like go to museums and food and all of that sort of stuff in Sydney and Melbourne and all of, you're not going to see anything. You might see a huntsman, which is like a spider as big as your hand, completely harmless, will not hurt you, non venomous. Like they're just scary looking. But yeah, exactly. Everywhere else they've got black widows. So
we don't. Although
Yeah.
we do have the katapo, which is a bit like a black widow, but not as deadly poisonous. Just really painful.
we got redbacks in Australia, and a redback will not kill an adult.
Which basically says it's a child killer.
Yeah, they'll kill the child easy, but they won't. Like as an adult, you've got hours to get to a hospital and get anti-venom. So
I hear dingoes steal babies out there, though.
yeah, but do
It
they?
happened one time.
And it's not
Just
even
joking.
absolutely. It's not even absolutely certain.
I'm
It
just
happened.
joking. Yeah,
Just one time. Seriously.
that was one case, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, Bex. If you were
Made,
to, if you were to go
made
to
popular
Australia,
by Seinfeld, you know. So that's the only reason I know about it. Let's be honest.
it
you
was
know?
a big deal. It was like
It
the
was
OJ thing.
really
It
big
was
deal.
like
Okay, I believe it. I believe
in
it, yeah.
America, you had OJ. Over there, we had Dingo Stole My Baby.
Lindy Chamberlain. And
Lindy
it was
Chamberlain, yeah.
And yeah.
And
Well, the
it
fact
was,
that I know the woman's name off the top of my head.
yeah,
I
it
don't
was
have to look
huge.
up.
It was massive. It was constantly in the news, and it was never actually there was a
It was
competing
recently
there was a
proven.
competing theory that she killed her own baby.
That was a long
Yes.
serving theory. I mean, she
Yeah.
was jailed for it. So
Yeah.
it was recent. She was recently, proven.
Yeah, when I travel, I do museums all the time. Anytime, anywhere I go in the States, when I travel, it's I'm just reading the comment museums.
There
The
are
food,
very
though, is a bit
there-
expensive.
there are very good museums in Sydney and Melbourne, and the food specifically in Melbourne is
So good.
incomparable. There is nothing better, and it's not expensive. I mean, there are expensive restaurants in
What
Melbourne.
would be Australian food? I mean, we're talking
Well-
about, I guess, mahi or what's the catch of the day or something. Is there something
There isn't-
specific? Bangers and mash. That's Britain,
Like,
right? Or-
Don't tell any Australians I said this, but Australians are very confused about their national identity,
Yeah.
which is understandable. I mean, like your ancestors
country.
got sent as convicts to a desert. They
Right.
were British, or actually, they were mostly Irish and Scottish. What is your national identity? You know, and
Wow.
but what
I
you've
need
got,
some read.
what
I need
you've
to
got in
read some
Australia-
sociology books on Australia. That sounds really interesting, actually.
Australian history
Sorry, I
is
didn't mean
really
to-
Fascinating.
really interesting and really weird. Like I was just telling a friend this last night. My stepdad was I mean, he's retired now, but he's still alive. He was the second head of the Australian FBI, and he was involved in a case which was 5 or 6 years long, investigating the police force in Sydney and New South Wales, the state that Sydney is in, and building up a case against a lot of police officers in New South Wales. Because, well, I mean, one of the things they found out in this investigation was there was a gang of Sydney cops who were hiring themselves out as hitmen to the mob.
Hmm.
So it's like, I can kill anyone you want. I have a way to get in. I can't be touched. You pay me a lot of money, I'll take out anybody you like. And the interesting thing, but there was a movie about it called Blue Murder. And that movie was banned on Australian television because they thought it would influence juries too much because they were still trying the case. But my stepdad had a copy of it. He brought it home and we watched it. And then he told me the whole history. He was like, this goes all the way back. Like, the reason the New South Wales police force was corrupt is that the original guards of the penal colony
Yeah.
were the worst guards in England. That's why they were sent to Australia. They were the most corrupt. They were the most criminal police in England. They were sent to Australia to guard the criminals.
Yeah. They were the bad apples.
And most of them were more criminal than the prisoners sent to Australia.
Yeah. who quite
Yeah.
often were sent for really minor offences.
They stole a loaf of bread or something
Yeah.
because people were starving and stuff. So yeah,
Aussie history is not pretty.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's interesting. Yeah,
It is interesting.
kangaroo burger. If it was quite tough, it was not prepared properly. Kangaroo can be actually pretty nice meat, but yeah, you do have to prepare it the right way.
That can be true of pretty much anything, though. Let's be fair.
Well, especially any kind of game, like most game, kangaroo,
It's got a flavour.
it's got a flavor, but you want to basically soak it for a couple of days in milk, which pulls a lot of that gaminess out of it. And then you can cook it. You have to tenderize it properly and all of that. But yeah.
It's a lot of effort.
Yeah.
So they eat the kangaroos.
Oh yeah, you have to because there's so many of them.
So many.
Okay, so the kangaroos are like deer out here. Do you see? Do they get hit in the middle of the road and stuff?
They're like deer that breed like rabbits and can jump 3-4 yards in the air.
They're a deer-sized rabbit.
They go over fences like
deer-sized rabbit.
Yeah,
that's a good description.
Deer-sized hopping rabbit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame you drive out here, and even in just north of a major city, Philadelphia, during this time, like you have to be careful because we hit deer. There are deer hit constantly. We're talking.
Dangerous.
I'm 4 miles from the city, not even that far. And they're pretty rough out here.
The government actually offers farmers subsidies to kill kangaroo.
Wow.
Like
okay.
all farmers in Australia are allowed to kill a certain quota of kangaroo every year because there's just so many of them.
They damage a lot of the ecology in terms of the what's the word I'm looking for?
Flora?
Yes,
fauna?
That one. They just do a lot of damage.
Crops and things, maybe.
Yeah. So
yeah,
they're not great to have too many of around.
No, and they'll kill you if you hit one with a car. You're dead.
Oh yeah.
Like surviving hitting a roo is rarer than dying because you hit a roo. Yeah, the closest I ever came to dying was when a friend of mine were in his very small sports car, going perhaps faster than we should have been on a small country road, and out of nowhere there was a roo like right next to the car, and I thought, okay, we're dead. And it veered off as he veered off. He almost went off the other side of the road. He was so like, get the hell away from the roo. But we were okay. But if that roo had hit us, especially in a small sports car, roos, because they're so mobile and they're really big and heavy. If you hit a roo, usually what happens is you take out its legs and the body just goes through the windshield.
Yeah.
And like you aren't going to survive that. Yeah. Nasty.
That happens with moose up in Maine.
Yeah.
You hit a moose going 60 miles an hour. Your car is crunched and it kind of just looks at you and trouts off, gallops off.
Yeah. Recurt is digging my shirt. Yeah, it says make Orwell fiction again.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, we're more likely.
I need that shirt. That is an excellent shirt.
Yeah. You
awesome.
can find Orwell now in modern factual documentary section.
Oh, man. Documentary, it's in real life. It's happening.
Although honestly, the main thing about Orwell was an ever-present surveillance state. And the ever-present surveillance state that we're living in now is corporate run, not government run.
No, that's right.
The government doesn't have their shit together well enough to surveil everybody effectively, but the corporations are doing it for them. Yeah. They're doing a great job. Yes, Thornall, it is basically the lore of Mr. In-Between. Has everybody seen Mr. In-Between?
No.
It's an awesome series, Aussie series. Mm-hmm. I think it's on Netflix. If I remember correctly, it's on Netflix, and it has a lot to do with like the criminal underworld in Sydney. And it's really, really good. Yeah, really, really good. It's very, very Aussie. You might want subtitles, but it's very good. It's very, very
Yeah,
good.
my ears are bad. If it's any British shows or anything that with a very tough accent, I have to like put on the
Yeah.
CC.
A lot of shows I put on subtitles, even though it's in English and even though it's not a difficult accent, just because of how the audio is recorded, or like you just can't really hear it that well.
I have mine on as standard now. And it's so great because I don't have to pay as much attention to listening because I can read that much faster and I can be doing something else. And I can be doing something else, quickly glance up, read what's going on, and go back to what I'm doing.
Peter, alligator meat is I'm Australian, but my American side is mostly Florida. Alligator is totally normal in Florida. Like gator tail.
I've had it.
You get gator tail in every bar as like an appetizer with your beers.
Well, when you go down there, you get in these those jet runners that can go over the water and stuff. You go on the little tour, you go see them, and then they're like, "Hey, you want to try them?" Like, yeah, sure, why not? And, I had a few alligator bites.
I've had a lot of gator meat because, like I said, like every restaurant you go in, you can get gator tail in Florida anyway. Okay, Thornell said it's Melbourne. Yeah, I'm remembering it wrong. It's been a while since I watched it.
Apparently it is Sydney.
Oh, okay. Now he says it's Sydney. Yeah, I somehow I thought it was Sydney. It didn't. It seemed because Sydney has. There are a lot of places in Sydney you can imagine there being a dirty criminal underbelly. There aren't many places like that in Melbourne. Melbourne crime, I think, is more high level. I
was going to say Melbourne's the arty sort of.
Yeah.
A bit fancier, if you like, than Sydney.
You're correct, Ida. You cannot hear shows without the audio. Yes, I figured you meant subtitles. Yeah. Just kidding. Yeah. Yeah, moose are massive. Moose are really tall. Yeah.
Yeah, they're a horse. They're bigger than horses. They are horses with frickin' massive horns.
Yeah, with like a massive shelf on their head. And
strangely enough, the other road hazard in Australia out in the desert is camels.
Yeah.
Because
really?
Yes. Yeah. Some smart ass English explorer introduced camels to Australia.
Shut up. There are camels in Australia just wandering around.
I almost ran over a camel in the desert. Yes.
My mind's fucking blown. Okay.
Yeah, and they're bigger than moose, just without the antlers. They're like just as tall as a moose, but bulkier. You know, they're massive. Really, really long legs, and yeah. Some of the last living megafauna. I think you mean gators.
No, camels. I think we mean moose.
Or moose.
And camels.
Maybe. And camels.
Or maybe camels.
Yeah.
Because those are ginormous.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really big.
Freakishly big.
Yeah.
That's too big to be normal.
The first time I was out in the desert in Australia, the lady with with lots of character, let's say, who was running the pub hotel that we were staying at, she was like, "You been out here before?"
Oh, okay.
We're like, "No," and she warned us about camels, and I was like,
"Whatever."
I would have laughed my ass off. Yeah,
you can't be serious about the camels, right? And she's like, "I'd drive slow at night if I were you." Really? I thought she was joking. And then we were literally exactly what she described. We were driving at night, and not far off the road was a camel who started running when our car got close. And I was like, dead stop. I just slammed on the brakes and was like, I don't know what this camel's going to do, but I'm just going to let him do it. You know, just wait for him to get out of the way. Yeah.
I'm definitely glad sometimes to live in New Zealand. The biggest things you're going to encounter on our roads moves really slowly, and you get lots of warning because it's usually an enormous herd of sheep, flock of sheep, or herd of cattle with a farmer and maybe a dog. And you just have to wait.
Yeah.
Until they're finished going where they're going. And yeah.
Herds of sheep blocking the road happens a lot in Australia as well, depending on where you are. In New South Wales, it's pretty common. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of cool, but then you realise that in large numbers, they're actually quite smelly.
They're extremely smelly.
You're just like, I don't want to be caught in the middle of this, and you've got all the windows up, and you're like, move along.
The penguins too, man. My wife, she's a big penguin fan. So anywhere we hit an aquarium, you got to go see the penguins. And you walk into this cold area, and oh my God, the stench is so bad. And they're adorable, but there's only so much you can take, And I'm like, I just like let's move on. Yeah, they're cute. Let's get a video. Let's go out because they stunk. They're bad.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them down in the south near Melbourne.
Yeah.
Because it's actually a pretty southern latitude.
Yeah.
Longitude's vertical.
Long ways.
Yeah.
Because we get
it's a low latitude. Like there are days in Melbourne where when the breeze is coming up from the south, you can smell Antarctica. Like it's freezing cold breeze
in the right direction. You're like, oh, that's cold.
Even in the middle of like spring or something where it's warm outside, and then you get this southerly breeze, and you're like, oh, that's right. We're not very far from Antarctica. You can feel it, and there are lots of penguins to the south of Melbourne, and there are places where where they actually have road signs.
Yep.
Like slow for penguins, because the penguins cross the road, just wandering around.
And they are cute in small numbers.
Yeah, my wife would love that. Are you kidding? Penguin exiting sign? Sign? Oh, that's perfect. That'd go right up in our bedroom, I'm sure.
My dad
get a Kiwi sign, but there aren't very many places where they're just in the bush. Most of the places where the Kiwis are on the mainland, at least, are in parks. But of course, most of our big parks aren't fenced. So roads around the edges of those parks will have the Kiwi sign. It basically says, watch out for them. Please don't run them over. Because they're kind of precious. But they're another thing that are bigger than you think. And grumpier than you think. Kiwis are grumpy.
Just like my cat.
But yeah.
I mean, I really do want to talk about books, but I really want to ask, what is the Tasmanian devil?
They're about this big.
Oh, it's a real thing.
It is a real thing.
This wasn't made up by Warner Brothers or anything.
No, it has nothing to do with the Warner Brothers character, though. They're about this long, and they're kind of pear-shaped.
They're all sharp-toothed,
and they're black. And they do. I've only seen them in captivity, and they do get a little. At least in captivity, they get a little crazy. So they'll just run around in circles a lot.
Being aggressive and snarly,
and they are kind of aggressive and snarly. Yeah, it's kind of like a marsupial badger.
Yes.
Yeah, but they're black.
So the description that Warner Brothers gave us was pretty accurate. You said he runs in circles a lot. Like, I mean, that's a Tasmanian devil
cartoon adaptation of an
adaptation. That's what I was looking for. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Exactly. Brian.
Welcome, Brian.
Brian's here. Tons of reading. Total 30 pages today. That's not
Brian,
tons
you're
of reading.
Reading like really big, dense things. 30 pages is impressive.
Yeah. He's reading some Wars of Light and Shadow. We were texting about it earlier. And Malazan, but right now he's reading Wars of Light and Shadow. And
Johnny Wirtz is not
slow progress. Yeah, no, she's not. Definitely not. Speaking of which, how about a splint? Oh, and there's a Fitz. Hello, Fitz.
You're so pretty.
Yeah, she's coming down because it's an hour before she's meant to be fed. So why have I not fed her?
You should know better.
Exactly.
Yep, she's going to die because you're starving her, clearly.
She is obviously skin and bones.
Yep. You haven't fed her in a million years.
Wasting away.
Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah.
Clearly.
How about a sprint?
All righty.
Sounds good.
Everyone reading.
Until, wait a sec. Until quarter 2. And what is everyone reading? Dan is reading Wind Up Bird Chronicle by Haruki Murakami.
Good word, man.
Yeah, I might pick up the Buried Giant because I'm also almost at the end of that.
Katsuo
So, yeah.
Ishiguro.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanna get to that. I'm really keen to get to that, but I'm kind of trying to stick to pub order
Timeline, right?
for all of his books. And the next one for me is The Unconsoled. And I have no idea what it is.
Actually, I think the audio book is. Do you have? If you don't have Audible, do you have Audible? I think it's free on Audible for me right now. The console. I just downloaded it the other day.
Okay. I'm still reading House of Open Wounds by Adrian Tchaikovsky, but I've made a fair bit of progress. I've got a third to go thereabouts, and I'm enjoying it very much.
Marianne's reading The Night Watch.
Yay, Marianne.
I'm gonna take the. I'm gonna try to do the sprint and come back because I might try that outside and see if I can keep the sweat out of my eyes.
Yeah, soak up some rays.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool, man.
All right,
enjoy.
Will do.
And I'm reading Mercedes Lackey. I'm into the Herald Spy trilogy, which I haven't read before. And I'm up to the third book, Closer to the Chest. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Please mute yourself, and everybody enjoy your read. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. How was your reading?
Good.
You're reading on your phone.
Yes, because I forgot to message you however many millions of weeks ago it was about backtracking my modem so that I could have my ancient Kindle upload books because it's not clever enough to do 5G.
Ah, yeah. I've got numerous devices, and some of my devices deal with 5, and some can only deal with 2.
Yeah.
So I have my router is putting out 2 Wi-Fis.
No.
One that's 2 and one that's 5. And my printer connects to the 2 and my phone connects to the 5 and so on.
It's only my Kindle that's backward, but I do have plans to go down the road this week, so I'll just wander into the library and upload them there.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
Britain, it's not quiet today. You arrived during a sprint where everyone was reading and not writing messages in the chat. But there are apparently 23 people here, so it should pick up now that the sprint has ended.
That's right. Well, people no doubt have things to tell us about what they've been reading.
120 pages. First I was like, 120 pages, and then I was like, oh yeah, you're reading a comic. Okay, that makes sense. 120 pages in half an hour is quite an achievement, but in a comic, it's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
It's yeah.
Page and a half written. Well done.
What is the subject of your paper? Dare I ask?
What are you writing about, Zach in Ack? I know he said earlier before you joined that he was working on graduate studies papers, I believe, but I don't think he mentioned what.
No.
Aquaman, I am still really skeptical. Aquaman to me is just like, I don't know.
I like the idea of Aquaman. I don't know that it's necessarily been executed brilliantly so far, but
I just think Aquaman as a character by himself, I think, yeah, okay, that's interesting. It's not bad. You could do interesting things with it. Aquaman as a superhero that exists in a universe of superheroes
is a little
where pretty much everything always happens on land.
Yeah.
And Aquaman is basically the only guy that has power in the water and not hardly any power on land, and can do all these cool things, but he has to be in water, you know? It's like,
this could be a failure of imagination in part of creating villains. Because let's face it, there's an awful lot of area in the ocean. And
but it's just like with all of the other heroes that don't do anything in water and really can't do much in water.
Maybe there's a whole underwater crime syndicate that is just...
There is a lot of, I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of underwater stuff in the comics. There's the Submariner and there's all sorts of underwater stuff. But I always thought like the Justice League, which is
the need for
land hero, land hero, land hero, land hero, land hero, and Aquaman. Like, I was like, dude, what do you do in the middle of New York, Aquaman?
Maybe it's just the OCD in me going, now, logically speaking, if everything's been distributed evenly, then surely there would be more water-based superpowers because there's much more water on the planet than there is land.
Sure.
And so, that always gets me. And I'm like, surely. Or maybe we should have some kind of amphibious type superhero because coastal.
I think from what Peter said earlier, I think that's... I don't know because I haven't read it because I've never been interested in Aquaman, but it sounds like the Jeff Johns run, which Peter is reading, is doing some of that Aquaman is actually more powerful on land.
Okay.
than he traditionally has been. But I don't know. I mean, you could also say, like, okay, he's got power over water. There's a lot of water on land, in the air, if not only like rivers and creeks and ponds
We
and
are mostly water.
whatnot. And exactly, we are mostly made of water. So,
Gorgeous,
Dan,
honey, where you are.
Dan in the sun.
Goodness.
Maybe a little bit. Let's see. All right.
So
let's see if that works.
You're wrong, Bex. Dan has, I don't know, he probably didn't hear us in the sprint, but he is aware that the sprint ended.
Yeah, I made sure I checked out the 45, be back at 45, but, one of the kids came with their friends to, they wanted to clear out my fridge. So, I'm less a lot of bottle of waters and a lot of ice cream bars now, but they've taken off. They've used me up. So now I can get back. It was pretty loud here a few moments ago. The 22-year-old just took off on his Harley, and the youngest just brought a bunch of friends over. But they just skated right in time for me to get back on. So
nice.
Am I coming through okay?
Yeah.
Out here. Yeah, I'm outside, so it might be a little loud. You let me know.
Now, I thought a Harley was something that you bought during your midlife crisis, like my father did.
Not around here in Philadelphia, man. Okay. I think you get them on your 16th birthday if you're in the Philadelphia suburbs. It was never my thing, but yeah, our 22-year-old has two of them. He's got two of them now.
Wow.
He likes riding. They're gorgeous pieces of machinery, but I've never done it,
Yeah, my dad, all of his life, my dad was kind of an adventurous guy, and he had motorcycles all his life, but he bought his Harley when he was, I guess, my age, like in his 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And then he even got too old to have a Harley, and he bought like one of those huge, I think it was a Honda cruising bike. No, it was still a two-wheeler, but it was just a big, super comfortable cruising bike, because he used to do these long, like, multi-day.
Yeah, the cabs on the side where you can put like tents and stuff in it. Exactly. Yeah, there's some nice bikes out there like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, so we worry every time he goes out on the bike. It's just like, okay, we're just gonna sit here until he comes back. Out here, riding out here, it's not the safest spot. But
okay,
what can you do?
Worry.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My niece, her boyfriend rides a motorbike, and she's like, "Oh, he's such a safe rider, and he'll be fine." I'm like, "Yeah." Everybody who rides a bike is probably a better driver than most people in cars. The problem is it's not people on bikes that cause the accidents.
Yeah.
And
my dad had weird wrists. Like I looked at him once, and like, you've got this sort of knob of bone sticking out where your wrist is. His was here.
Ooh.
Like in the middle. He had weird lumps and stuff, and I asked him, I was like, dude, your wrists are kind of weird. And he was like, yeah, I've also got no strength in them. He was riding his bike, not his Harley, but a smaller bike much earlier, and he was at a T-junction where he had the right of way, and there was a stop sign on the other side, and he was just flying along, and a car just ignored the stop sign, pulled right out in front of him, and he went straight into the side of the car.
Yep.
And busted both of his wrists. Totally smashed both of his wrists. So, like, he had to have his wrists rebuilt. So, yeah. Teach your kid, Dan, to watch out for people in cars. They are the real danger.
And that's the problem. Is it doesn't matter how safe the person is that you love that's out on a bike. It's not them that's going to be the issue.
Yeah.
And you can only be so careful. So it is scary when someone you care about's on a bike. And it's not
it angers me the way people drive out here sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're taking people's life in your hands. Like, can you be a little more responsible and not go like off road to get around somebody going 65? Because there's people out here. Racing's a big thing. There's a couple kids that just lost their lives racing on 95 down. But it's just it bothers me to no end when I drive.
People who take medication, it's like, don't operate heavy machinery. That means your car.
Yeah.
We're not talking trucks or tractors or bulldozers. We're talking your vehicle that you get in several times a day.
Don't operate machinery that could kill anyone.
Yeah.
Is what it means.
You're in a lethal weapon.
Yeah.
And if your reflexes aren't on fire, then you're a risk.
Britton, I was going to ask you how you're liking Gardens of the Moon, but you answered that without me asking. It's been a wild journey. Okay. If that's all you'll say, then I want. Yeah, it's like Thornall. I've ridden my dad's Harley quite a bit, and if you're thinking that's better than sex, you need to be having better sex.
Yeah, just saying.
I mean, riding a Harley's nice, but
it's pretty good. Don't get me wrong.
It's not that good. Yeah.
But that was fun.
Yeah.
It caught my eye very much so.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry to hear that the sex you've been having sucks so bad, Thornall. Yeah.
Oh, I do want to just briefly reference something Peter said as we came back from the sprint. Thank you for watching my Mercedes Lackey videos.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He mentioned
underrated.
That. Where was that? I don't know if I can find that, but yeah.
Ages ago.
I have been, you've been talking about her for a while, and it's weird. I've been reading fantasy for like 40 years, longer, and she's one of those authors that's always been there.
Yeah.
Like, I've been aware of her for over 40 years. I don't think I've ever read anything by her.
No, and quite a lot of people haven't, in that it's almost, she begins as a niche. And that the first time you read it, it's because somebody's told you something specific about something she's written, because she was one of the earliest writers in fantasy that incorporated rainbow characters. So we had gay characters, and we had same-sex pairings, and we had group pairings, but without it being focused on. This was just part of the world where
it was just normal. Yeah.
Some people had different relationships.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people found her through that. And also a lot of her magic systems, because she writes in so many different worlds, she has a lot of focus on music. So you often find the sort of, what's the word I want? The eclectic teenagers who are like, I'm arty, I'm a soul arty person.
Right.
They like reading about people who have magic in their music or in their voices.
Right.
And a lot of her characters,
the drama kids,
that is one of the powers that she uses.
Yeah.
So that tends to be how people find her,
right.
And then you're in the world, and
I can imagine that's also a reason, maybe, why she didn't get that big back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, etc. Yeah. Because that puts off a lot. Of people, and less so now, hopefully.
Very woke.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, woke as a concept didn't even exist.
No, it didn't.
Then,
and so she was very much at that niche kind of, I'm providing books for a niche audience.
Yeah.
On the fringes of this greater kind of category of fantasy.
Yeah.
And she's really prolific. And for some reason that tends to be seen as lesser, as not as good, as not valid, not worthy. Whereas for me, it's just nice. It's nice fantasy. We're not talking morally grey. The heroes are heroes. Our good guys are white hats.
Yeah.
And our bad guys are black hats. And there is no doubting. And
which is okay.
Comforting about the ease of reading that. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it goes a bit back to what I was saying earlier about Superman, the new Superman movie. It's just an optimistic, hopeful, non-cynical story.
Yeah, and they can be so lovely to read.
Well, it feels to me like they're kind of making a comeback
Oh yeah,
in a
hopefully.
way. Like Ted Lasso, which I feel like whenever I talk about it here, I feel like I watched it and nobody else watched it.
Oh, okay.
You kidding? One of my top. I think it might be in my top 5.
It's such a good
People
show.
like to be made to feel good.
And it's just,
It's
I mean,
feel good.
it's got a complex story, and bad things do happen and stuff like that. But the presiding themes and messages of it are positive and optimistic. You know, and
that's your character all the way. That's
not
who
only the
he
character,
is.
also like the whole show
And,
is
and he
about
rubs off on everybody around.
Yeah, the whole show is about making other people better. Really.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's kind of the main
thing. It is very much the vibe of a lot of the Valdemar books from Blackie. It's a country that is literally about there is no one true way. That's their first rule. If they had a constitution, it would be the first part of it. There is no one true way. Right. So their freedom of religion is fundamental. It doesn't matter who you worship. That's fine, so long as no one's getting hurt. And the whole concept is, yes, horrible things happen. Yes, there are dreadful people out there who abuse and who, denigrate and who are negative impacts on our people. We're trying to make it better. We're trying to fix this as much as we can, and we're trying to make it better for everybody. Yeah. And there's a wholesomeness to it that a lot of what I consider new or modern fantasy just doesn't have. It doesn't have that want to be good that I get from the Valdemar books. That's a worthy thing, to want to be good. And
I was talking about it earlier, and I think a lot of it feels to me, or maybe it's just timing or whatever, but it feels to me like a lot of it is a knock-on effect from the pandemic.
Yes.
That I don't know if a show like Ted Lasso would have existed without the pandemic. I don't know if like cozy fantasy in books and cozy games didn't exist really before the pandemic. Like I was reading an article today about a cozy game that actually, this new game that turned out to be a total disaster and is probably going to be wildly unsuccessful, is getting bad reviews. But they were talking about cozy games, just sort of the history of cozy games. And they started.
I guess you would throw Sims in there?
No. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, Sims has existed long before the pandemic, no question. But it's...
Well, there's the new Hobbit game
that's the one that's a disaster, apparently. It's meant to be like really bad.
Yeah.
And this article was about
the vibe,
this article was about like the huge challenges and bad decisions and everything that went into making that game, and it's getting horrible reviews. I was actually super looking forward to playing it, and now I'm just not even going to buy it. But they were saying like a game like Animal Crossing that came out of the pandemic very clearly and became a hit, it became a hit during the pandemic. Yeah. And then since then there's been a real like explosion kind of cozy games like that.
It's quite, it's sort of awesome that we have lived through the pandemic, because this, I think, is going to be one of those watershed moments culturally that impacts for a long, long time, because it's influencing architecture, it's influencing design, it's influencing, as you say, games, it's influencing movies, because so many people had to fundamentally shift what they thought the purpose of their life was and what was important in terms of what they were seeking. And it's going to continue to have these repercussions over the next, few decades. So It's kind of cool that I've lived through it.
Yeah.
So I know I'm aware of it before. It's a bit like the 9/11 thing. There was pre-9/11 and then there was post-9/11.
Yeah.
And I think pandemic is going to be one of those cultural moments.
There are big things. Like I've always thought it was really interesting. My particular life, I was born just in time to be old enough and aware enough and smart enough to understand the beginning of the internet.
Yes.
Right? Like the internet didn't exist when I was a kid. And it was just coming into being when I got to university. So I learned HTML when I was 18, 19. And I was the only person I had ever met who knew what HTML was at the time. You know, I had an email address in 1988. And I didn't know anybody else who had email and wasn't in university with me. You know, and then I was saying to a friend yesterday, I was like, this thing, this supercomputer that lives in my pocket. We were out before the movie. We went to Superman together. We were out before that for a movie. There was the thing on our table. I scanned a QR code with my phone. I paid online by double clicking a button on the side of my phone, and magically, a couple minutes later, a lady brought us beers. And it every now and then I get this weird flash where I'm like, this is normal now. I know it's totally normal. Everybody does it. It's not a big deal. But
it would have been science fiction.
If you had said this to my 20-year-old self, that I was going to be doing this in my lifetime, I would have thought you were insane.
Yeah.
You know, it was unimaginable within my lifetime, you know. So it's been a very interesting time to be alive, that's for sure.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the pandemic had a real negative effect on people. And I think you're right. I don't think Ted Lasso would have been as successful as it was if the pandemic didn't occur. I really feel that, you know, the whole world shift really, there's, you know, for me, I got up and went to work every day. And after the pandemic, you know, now we're shift to technology. Now I work from home. You know, this shift from technology, this isolation, this reliance on technology is pushing us all away from each other.
Which is why I think
really
there is this need now for the comfort reads and for comfort and for the cozy games and that connection, that niceness that we're kind of craving.
Another interesting thing I've been thinking about lately. I've been listening to Trevor Noah's podcast.
Oh, okay.
If you don't know who Trevor Noah is, go look him up. He's a comedian. He's super intelligent. He's super interesting.
I got to check out his new book or something. I hear that's really good. Or maybe it's not new.
It's meant to be extremely good.
Yeah,
I've got a couple friends who've read it.
But
he has a
I have to.
He has a podcast called What Now or What Now? Yeah, it's What Now. I think it's called What Now.
Yeah, because it's the thing, isn't it? What now?
Yeah. And every episode is him interviewing an interesting person, but like really interesting people. He gets some really, really cool people on, and I forget her name, but she's a psychologist who's done a lot of work around intimacy.
Okay.
Sexual intimacy, but also just like people in relationship with each other. And one of the things, I'd never thought of it this way, but one of the things she brought up and he was reacting a lot to was the idea of friction in our lives.
Okay.
And he had a good example. He was like, I have friends who are married. They're a couple who are married, and they met in the basement of their apartment building in the laundry room. Right? Because very, very common in America, it used to be anyway, that you would have a laundry room in the basement with a bunch of machines that you had to put coins in, and you would go down there, you put coins in, you put your laundry in, you go back up to your flat, you come back down an hour later, and you know. And they met in the laundry room because they kept ending up in the laundry room at the same time. They started talking to each other, and you know.
Yeah.
And he was like, nowadays you can't find a flat that doesn't have a washer and dryer in it.
Yeah, you don't have those opportunities.
So the friction of having to go downstairs, having to put your laundry in, having to have coins, all of that friction has been removed, but it's also removed a point of contact with other people. He said so much of the older things we used to have to do were friction, but they were also contact.
Yeah.
They were also interaction, you know, because you had to go out in the world, out of your little protected space. Absolutely. You had to go out in the world somewhere and do something.
It's funny you say that. I've been paying attention because I'm trying to get out of this not great state that I'm in. And so I'm journaling a lot lately. And I realized that in the last, and it's over a month, it's almost 6 weeks, I have left my flat once. I have literally left the bounds of these walls one time in 6 weeks. And I have spoken to you guys. And even that's been rare in the last few weeks. I've really been withdrawn. And I have spoken to the man who delivers my groceries. So that's maybe a 2-minute conversation once a week. I have spoken to my landlord one time because my oven isn't working. And that's in 6 weeks. And that's the only contact that I have had.
I know that feeling.
Because I can.
Yeah.
I can order my groceries online.
Yeah.
I can talk to my landlord on the phone and not have to actually talk to him in person. I can do those things. So I do. Whereas even 10 years ago, I will have had to have walked down to the grocery store to buy my groceries and interacted with the person at the checkout and had to deal with the people in the aisles. And I would have been very stressed out and I would have been miserable and I would have come home and been really grumpy and probably gone to bed. But I would have had interaction.
Yeah.
Now I don't.
As someone else, a friend of yours who also suffers from depression and also lives in a flat by himself.
Yeah.
I strongly recommend that you find, I have to make myself do it as well. I've also had those weeks where I'm like, when was the last time I actually walked outside my flat? You know,
the only reason I've even gone outside the door has been to give apple to the bird who comes to visit me. And honestly, without that bird, I don't think I'd have had any fresh air at all.
Make yourself go for a walk occasionally.
Oh, well, I used to, and this is the journaling thing because I used to have a tick box for walking, and you know, it's a thing. It's in the process.
It's hard to do when you're in the middle of all of this.
It's awful because we're intelligent people, and we know
makes a difference.
Help fix it, and we know the things that will help us feel better and will help make getting better faster and easier. And it is still so hard to actually do them.
Yeah,
even
well, it's a
go outside.
It's a vicious cycle because when you're in the middle of a bout of depression, the thing you need are exactly the things that you don't feel like doing.
Yeah. Even though you know they're easy and they work.
Yeah.
And like fast.
Yeah.
It's still.
I've been making myself, I mean, I have a very hard time motivating myself to like just go for a walk by myself. You know, it's like I'm too lazy. I don't feel like it, whatever, you know. But what I can usually motivate myself to do is spend time with a friend. So like lately I've been really like texting or calling my friends and saying, "Hey, let's go see a movie. Let's go out and have a beer. Let's do something."
Well, I wish I had that because I just get more and more withdrawn, and it's not great.
It's good you got on with us today. Then that's something, you know, you could have just pushed away, you know.
And I was like, okay. It just was the right tone of voice. It wasn't cajoling in any way. It was like,
I told her to get the fuck out of bed.
It was like, oh, okay. So
hey, listen, guys, I gotta prep dinner at this time. It's Sunday night. Hey, I appreciate you guys having me on. I hope everybody's reading some good shit. And hopefully we can do this next week.
Glad you got some rays.
Yeah, I did. I'm a little schwitzed up here, so may take a shower while I'm cooking here. And you guys take care of yourselves, I hope. But yeah, vitamin D. I hope I can see you guys next week. Okay.
I'll send you an invite.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
See you, Dan.
It's a weird one for me, but this is when I say I've got back into journaling. I've actually had to get really basic with myself in the last few weeks to even turn it around. And at the moment, my checklist for daily things is breakfast, lunch, dinner, water, meds, and I've only managed to tick off all 5 of those things once so far. So I'm still really basics.
I'm horrible about food. I generally eat once a day.
Well, normally I will kind of just graze all day, and that's not helping when I don't sleep.
Yeah.
So the last time I spoke to my therapist, she's like, okay, how about we try and get some routine?
Yeah.
And having actual meals, which we're stretching the boundaries of the definition of meal. Cereal for breakfast, obviously. Lunch tends to be toast.
Yeah, I have one big meal a day, and usually it's something I ordered. I'm good about water. I always have, like, this is technically a coffee maker.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a coffee maker for like filter coffee. You put a filter in the top, and
I see it.
It's called a Chemex. It's actually only replacing the jug I normally use because it's in the dishwasher. But I always have like a liter or 2 of water next to me. I always have a pint glass next to me, and I drink at least 3 pint glasses of water a day, usually 5.
Well done.
It's just a habit. I get thirsty, and I have water next to me all the time.
There are some parts of me that are still very British, despite leaving the country as a very small child. I have cups of tea, and I have many cups of tea. Drinking water is still really odd. I'm like, why? Why am I just having wet? I'm just drinking wet. Why can I not have flavored wet? Warm flavored wet. Tea, even.
I put lime juice in my water.
Well, what I've found has started working for me is I put my glass that I have my water in next to my kettle, and I'll put water in my kettle, boil the kettle, and while the kettle is boiling, drink the water while I make my cup of tea. And I have had a lot of water doing it that way because I drink lots of cups of tea. So
we have in Berlin, we have extremely hard water, meaning it's very high in calcium. So just
you'd want to be adding something to it.
Straight Berlin water tastes kind of chalky. And because of that, I started putting lime juice in it. And I love lime. I just I could drink lime juice straight. So I have lime flavored water. So I get a lot of water, and I will never get scurvy.
No, this is true. Safe from scurvy.
I'm like a pirate. Pirates used to. This is one of the weird facts that I picked up through role playing game research years ago. Pirates or sailors, any sailors, they used to put a barrel on the ship, and fill it with earth and plant a lime tree in it.
Yes.
And carry around a lime tree so that they could always have access to vitamin C and not get scurvy.
Yeah. It's one of those weird things you see in gardening that not a lot of people grasp the roots of. It's why you often see citrus in barrels. Yeah. In terms of decorative things, not anything else. It's only ever limes and lemons. And
although I know a guy who used to grow. Oh no, actually, I didn't. This isn't someone I knew. This is from an Isabel Allende autobiographical book.
Okay.
I think she married a guy. Her husband used to, before they married, he was very mobile. He moved a lot.
Yeah.
But he loved roses. So he planted rose bushes in barrels so that he could always take them easily with him.
Yeah.
And then when they married, it was a big point for him that he eventually planted his roses, put them in a garden. It's like, okay, we're
putting down roots.
We're staying here. Yeah, putting down roots. Exactly.
Yeah.
I wish I still had my roses. I used to have a rose garden, which I was very into, but that was years ago when I had a flat that actually had a garden, which is pretty rare.
Yes, I imagine it is.
In Berlin.
And while I have officially, I have a bit of land that comes with this unit. It's all on a hill, sort of almost vertical, and it's bush. So I don't really have a garden as such. Yeah. I have greenery around me.
But you're on the ground floor at least.
Yes. Although
I mean,
again, it's on the hill. So
just by numbers, in Berlin, every building
yes,
is
multi-story, and you're not
at least 5 stories.
Yeah.
The building, so there's 2 flats in my 10-flat building that are on the ground.
Which get a garden. Yeah.
Right. And they have a little green space, and everybody else has a balcony, you know.
But you know, I have enough access to greenery that I may in fact go outside later and hug a tree, because there are many, and I can.
Well, Ida recommends it.
Yeah, I don't want to because it's outside. But I did get out of bed, so who knows? The sky is the limit today, apparently.
I mean, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but this is all stuff that I have to keep reminding myself.
Yeah.
Even if it's this long, like don't make a big deal out of it. Just like, I'm going to walk outside for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, like around the block.
Yeah.
That's it. Well, I don't know how big your block is, but like...
Well, this is New Zealand, Matt. We don't have blocks.
Yeah.
Okay, we have windy roads and hills and hummocky stuff, and we
look out your front door, pick a tree, walk to it, and walk back.
I will go maybe to that top of the driveway, which is about a 4 or 5 minute walk, and hug the tree that's there.
That's quite a driveway you've got.
And it doesn't have the letterbox at the end of it. I have to keep walking. It's almost a 10-minute walk to my letterbox.
It's so different.
There is a safe place at the top of my driveway for the postie to stop and deliver the letters without potentially getting crashed into. So,
where you live is so different from where I live.
Precisely. And I am still literally within the bounds of Wellington City.
I live in a street where I can walk from one corner to the opposite corner in 1 minute, and in that 1 minute space, it's like a typical sort of city block.
Yeah.
If you count both sides of the street, probably 200 people live there, because all of the buildings are 5 stories like my building, and each building has got, you know, at least 10 people in it, but probably more like 15, 20. Yeah. Like the family across from me, that they're 4 people and living in a flat the size of mine.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Well, not in Berlin. Like 90 square meters for a couple with kids is like, that's pretty normal. But yeah. Does anyone actually still get actual letters? I occasionally actually go out of my way, but I mean, I collect
one last week.
I collect fountain pens. So I have some very nice writing implements, and I make a point every now and then. I also collect postcards. Although I haven't bought a new postcard in a long time, but I have like an envelope, one of those plastic envelopes that's this thick with postcards. And every now and then, just because I miss it, I will write 5 or 10 postcards and send them to 5 or 10 people.
Ah, well, then I should get your address.
Or
I
letters.
Don't really have it, I think I do. And send you a postcard.
There you go. Or give me your address and I can send you one.
Yeah, well, but I have to walk such a long way to get it from the letterbox.
I would be happy to give you a reason.
That they at least bring to my door.
I would be happy to give you a reason that you have to go outside.
Oh, see, now that's coercion. And it's like this morning with getting out of bed. I can't do cajoling. The minute somebody is encouraging, I just want to smack them. Like, I know you don't have to. I know, okay, if I go outside, I will feel better. If I drink water, I will feel better. If I eat my vegetables, I will feel better. These are all very simple things that I'm well aware of and can do for myself. And the fact that I'm not doing them already is making me more depressed, because I'm a smart person. I already know how to do these things, and I'm not doing them. How stupid is that? For somebody else to tell me, I'm just going to dig my heels in and not do it even longer. Because, that's just the stupid thing that depression does to your brain.
Then forever, I will always tell you to get the fuck out of bed. I will never encourage you to
I
do
needed
it.
that this morning. I really did.
Fair
That
enough.
was perfect. It was super.
My stuff doesn't manifest in that way. I never have a hard time getting out of bed, especially since I have a cat to feed.
Yeah, well, this is
So
the thing. That
if
when
I
did have my
stay
thing,
in bed, I have a little lion clawing me.
yeah, that's
And
exactly.
it's really weird. There's also a really interesting behavior that I've noticed. Like Fitz, and I think cats in general, don't like having their face near your face.
No, makes
Right?
them
They
feel,
like if you go
they'll,
right
they'll
up at
move
them,
away.
they'll move away because a face is a dangerous thing. It's got a mouth in it which has teeth, right? So, but if I'm mostly unconscious, Fitz will get right up in my face and smell my breath.
Like, are you still alive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she literally sticks her nose right up to my mouth and has a good sniff. And I'm like, what the fuck
If you're
are
not
you
going to
doing?
feed me, can I eat you?
Yeah, exactly. Are you food or are you going to feed me? Yeah.
You decide.
Yeah.
Um,
So I think
mean,
there is something like an instinctual level of not when you're walking around because you could bite me, but if you're laying down and not moving, maybe you're dead. Maybe you're
fair
not
game.
dangerous. Yeah.
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 It's and there's also the aspect too, and this is why they quite often you find the first thing a therapist will say to you is get a pet, because caring for something makes it easier to care for yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you're getting up to feed the cat, you're in the kitchen. It's easy to grab something to feed yourself, and it becomes a mutual.
And also just like I smile at least once and laugh at least once every day purely because of Fitz.
Oh yeah,
Because she's such a
know
doofus, and
not having Motzi has had an effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's okay. I can deal. I do have my parrots that come and screech at me for apple, which is kind of cool that a wild bird knows that if he stands on the railing of my little entryway and shrieks, I will come. I'm like,
Right.
a wild bird knows how to call me. That's kind of cool. So
yes, Peter, I saw your cat. If I remember correctly, that was the very cute orange cat on the fireside, and he is very cute. Yeah, he was standing up on his back legs, which cats don't do that often. But yeah, orange cats are weird. Dalek Sir Knight of Squirrel doesn't make much sense, but is also from Germany. Hi, I think you're here for the first time.
Welcome.
I think.
Although I would remember somebody. I would remember somebody with Dalek in their name.
I've seen your avatar picture elsewhere, though. I know around BookTube somewhere. I've seen it's a little squirrel wearing armor. So I know I've seen that before. I remember that. Yeah, my cat, Peter's cat rubs his nose on his face. My cat never does that at all.
It is an orange thing.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Because there's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, if only I could be like Snow White. Actually, no, I take that back completely.
There's
Snow White.
A lot of things about Snow White weren't so optimal. Yeah.
Not happening.
No.
But the small critters coming to me, I could deal with that.
And you have to be surrounded by annoying dwarves all the time as well. And no.
It's just that 7 blokes thing, you know.
Yeah.
Dwarf or not, I'm not cleaning up after them.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Not going to happen. Plus, if somebody wants to kiss me when I'm dead, I'm certainly not going to want to be stolen away by them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really gross.
That
the
is
whole
kinda,
Snow White story
is
creepy.
Yes. Yeah. I absolutely agree with that. It's not exactly
it's not family fair when you really think about it.
Well, and it's also not a very liberated woman role model kind of thing.
No, not at all.
No.
That's again the cleaning
can,
of the season.
Can only be saved by a man.
No, but she's already dead in the original fairy tale. Like, he literally comes across her corpse and wants to take the corpse away because it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy.
That's really weird. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very
Of
creepy stuff.
taking fairy tales right back and trying to find earliest versions that you can
Oh yeah.
is incredibly fascinating.
The old ones before Disney sanitized them are
The
always a
grievely
lot
ones. Think like
scarier than
Cinderella, the ugly stepsisters. They weren't ugly in terms of appearance in the fairy tale. They were
yeah.
ugly in character
Yeah.
that you didn't know. They were just as pretty as Cinderella, but they were ugly in character. But then they did things like chop off pieces of their feet to fit into the slippers, and there were
Yeah.
multiple balls, and there was multiple things. And
Yeah.
anyway, another really gross fairy tale. Plus, shoe size is not the right way to be determining who you marry.
No.
That's
No. Not a good measure of an
the
appropriate
Chinese have
mate.
just it's not good.
Yeah. No. No. You're lucky, Zakanak. I
Only
wish
licking.
my cat would lick my feet to wake me up. My cat claws me on any part that she can get to. So my hand, my arm, my ass, my feet, whatever.
That must really suck because I know for myself, my temperature control at night through how far out of the covers my foot is.
Yeah.
That's
I've gotten in the
easiest
habit.
way.
I've gotten in the habit because she'll also, like when I'm falling asleep, she'll also sometimes decide that it's fun to attack anything that she can get at because she's not ready to sleep yet. So I've gotten in the habit of like taking my doona and
getting it under yourself
rolling
as
it
well.
around my arms so that my hands are totally in and cannot fall out.
Oh no.
Yeah. Anyway,
Oh, that's
shall
terrible.
we sprint again, perhaps?
Sure.
Let's
18.
do
That's an old cat, Peter. That's an old cat.
let's
That
do a
cat is
slightly longer one and go until 1:15.
sure.
So 45-ish minutes. Because my book's getting pretty good. So I'll sink in a little bit. Cool. Everybody enjoy your reading. Derry, make sure you mute yourself and see you then. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Terry. Good to see you. Glad you're here.
Yes.
Lurking is acceptable, but it's nice if you at least say hi once in the chat. I like to at least see everybody at least once. It's a weird thing running streams.
It is, because you can see sometimes there
you
are
see-
people there. And then
Well,
you're
I
like,
see a little number up in the corner on stream on what's this thing called? Restream.
Restream.
I see a little number up in the corner, so I know how many people are at least have the stream open.
Yeah.
But
That's the thing, is you're like, are they actually listening?
that I can't know.
That's right. So it's nice
like-
when you comment and we know you're there.
It's like many years ago, I ran a podcast. When podcasts were new, a friend of mine and I decided podcasts were new and nobody was like making money from them. It was just like this weird fringe thing that some people did. And a mate of mine and I decided we were going to drink beer and eat pizza and talk about whatever the fuck we wanted to and make a podcast. And podcasts are weird because they are asynchronously and asymmetrically distributed.
Okay.
So
I don't know
people
what you
could
mean.
be accessing the podcast from anywhere
Mhm.
in many different softwares from many different websites.
Right. Gotcha.
And because of that, there's no like centralized mechanism really for counting, like if someone has subscribed or whatever. You can see how many times an audio file was accessed.
Right.
So you can say, okay, this episode was listened to by X people, but you don't know if they subscribed or if they ever listen to anything else or who they are or anything. So it was really weird, though. We ended up with 1,000
But then there's no way of,
pretty
of,
regularly.
of forming a community, though, if it's purely one way.
You could have something like we have the Fireside. You know, you
Yeah.
could have some sort of forum or something where people are commenting and that kind of thing, but it's not live. Like you record a file and then you put it up and people listen to it. So there's no like chat next to it, or it's because it's not live. So yeah, we ended up with 1,000 pretty regular listeners, which was very surprising to us. But yeah, like you said, it's really hard to have a community. Back then, we had a blog, and we would post each new audio file on the blog, and it was distributed as a podcast. But we would post it on the blog, and people would comment.
Right.
So that was where sort of a community developed. And people would write us emails and stuff. It was really weird. It was really, really strange.
This is because I found BookTube through the Song of Ice and Fire community, and that's pretty much where they were at for a very long time. It was all that this is where you can access this information, but it was a very slapdash kind of, this is how we keep in touch. And then YouTube happened and Patreon.
Yeah.
And now we've got channels that have been established for an awfully long time. And now they do it the other way around, and that they do a live stream and will be interacting with the feed or not, depending on how they run their live streams.
Yeah.
And then that becomes the podcast.
Yeah.
It can then be downloaded or whatever.
Yeah.
And it works really well in that there are some people who come to the things and listen to them live, and some people who only engage with the podcast, and some people who only engage with the Facebook page or whatever. But getting Patreon has been a big deal, I think, for a lot of the bigger sort of broad interest groups.
If you weren't, like nowadays, if you've got a podcast that is even moderately successful, you can very easily put ads in it.
Yeah.
And you get money for that, you know?
Yeah.
Back then, it was like, if we were going to do ads, we would have made the ads ourselves. So we had to get sponsors, and we were never big. I mean, like 1,000 people listening isn't big enough that anyone cares. And we also made everything as difficult as possible. First of all, as difficult as possible for our listeners, because my friend is German.
Right.
I'm not. So we would do one episode in German and the next episode in English, and the next episode in German, next episode in English. So
Quite possibly you had two different audiences.
We totally did, because I had like English speaking friends in Australia and America who heard about my podcast and wanted to listen, and they wrote me and they were like, "Is it always in German?" I'm like, no, wait for the next episode. Like every second episode's in English. You can listen to those. And then other people who didn't want to listen in English, and they would only listen to the German ones. Yeah. The peak weirdness was one day I was late to work because I had to go to the doctor. I went to the doctor. I came out of the doctor. I was standing at the light waiting to cross the street, and I was on the phone with work. And I said, yeah, I got out of the doctor's. I'll be there in like half an hour. I'm getting in the train now. And the guy standing next to me at the light said, "Are you Matt?" And I was like, "Who the fuck are you?"
That's awesome.
And he was like, "I recognized your voice from your podcast." I was like, whoa, okay, that's weird. Because you don't think of, I mean, of course, because we were in Hamburg and we were talking about Hamburg a lot, and we actually did some live episodes on the road episodes in bars in Hamburg. And, you know, it was a kind of a very Hamburg podcast in a way. Of course, a lot of people in Hamburg listened.
Of course.
And of course, I could run into them on the street, but I didn't expect to, you know? Mm. And a guy who just like, and we didn't have photos of ourselves visible anywhere. He just recognized my voice.
That is really
And I was like, that's weird. That is really weird, dude. You've just freaked me out completely. Glad you enjoyed the podcast. Good to meet you. But
yeah, but now I'm freaked out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like what Peter has to say here, that he comes back to the Sunday pubs as background noise. And I have to say, I've been doing this with a Song of Ice and Fire creator recently. They did something, this is the channel History of Westeros. They did a Valar rereaders a few years ago, and they went through and sort of analysed chapters as we went. But it was very much for rereaders. It's like, we're not even going to talk about what's actually happening on the page. We're going to talk about how it connects to everything else.
Right.
And it's hours, because it's 4 or 5 chapters a week, but it's 4 or 5 chapters a week of A Song of Ice and Fire. So there's a lot.
Yeah.
And I do that. I'll just put them on and have them on in the background.
Yeah.
But another one of my favorite creators, In Deep Geek, has created a channel called In Deep Sleep, which is just him talking from the normal weekly live stream that he then adds like a crackling fire to, or rain, or forest sounds for like 8 hours with no ads.
It's ASMR.
He put you to sleep with his voice.
It's ASMR Westeros.
Yeah, and it's fantastic because he does have a very lovely voice.
I've been thinking about doing that, because like the most common compliment I get is about my voice.
Exactly.
And I know I've got a deep voice that is nice to listen to. And I've actually thought about starting another channel, because I'm sort of at a point where I'm like, I'm not really, I mean, a big sort of life decisions point. I'm not really crazy about going back to work and doing the work I've been doing for many, many years. And I don't really have any YouTube channels that are going to go crazy and take off and be enough money that I can ever live off of it. Like right now, both of my channels together make me about enough money to pay half my rent for 1 month per year. Per year.
Oh, per year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, not enough that it matters.
Not sufficient.
No.
Currently.
And I've been thinking, having the voice that I do, doing audiobooks might not be a bad idea, but I have no experience in it. I have experience in audio, like I've got a very good microphone for voice recording and all of that, but I have no experience in audiobooking. And I was thinking I might start a YouTube channel And I was thinking to start with, I would only read the first page of a book
Okay.
and just have some sort of attractive visuals going on, and otherwise it's just my voice and I'm just reading.
I tell you what, Robert from Indeed Geek, who does In Deep Sleep, also has I can't think what his channel is, that he reads books, but he reads old science fiction and fantasy books, and he gets all of the ones out of copyright, so that it doesn't matter where you are in the world.
Right.
He's able to read it to you, no problems.
Yeah.
And it's been quite funny because he's started to encounter things that he thought were completely copyright free, but he's discovering that that's only in some places in the world.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, do I take the hit by doing it anyway?
Yeah.
Will they even care? I don't advertise during this.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's just too much. I can't be bothered thinking about it. So unless it's out of copyright everywhere, I'm not reading it on the channel.
Yeah, that's something I honestly don't know much about. Like,
it's popular.
I certainly wouldn't ever try and read a whole book and publish that, because that's like you're publishing an audiobook, and of course there's going to be a copyright problem with that if anyone bumps into it. But like just the first page of a book. Because I was thinking it's also not a bad way to review a book in a way. It's not a review, obviously, but what I often do when I'm in a bookstore. I would love that though. When I walk into a bookstore
without having to find it.
When I walk into a bookstore, all I do is I pick up a book and I read the first page. You know, and I'm like, okay, the prose appeals to me. There's some sort of hook
of books.
Yeah. And it would be really easy to produce as well. And it would give me a lot of voice practice.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And, you know, if down the line you kind of go, okay, this is definitely something I want to get into, you have a library of things to offer and go, well, this is what I can do.
Yeah, exactly. I would have something where I could point someone and say, hey, you know, would you, the only thing, not all audiobooks, but most audiobooks, actually the narrator does voices.
Yes.
I don't do voices well. Right.
To be fair, I mean, words. There's a big thing at the moment in Audible where they're beginning to offer AI narration.
Yeah.
And obviously a human voice is always preferable to an automated one, purely because the inflections are correct.
Yeah.
But there is a place in the market for narration without voices.
Just narrate. See, personally, I don't know. It depends on the narrator, and I don't have a huge amount of experience listening to audiobooks, but I've listened to some where it's just a guy reading.
Yeah.
And I've listened to some where it's like full-on voices. Like I listened to The Hobbit by Andy Serkis. And like the voice acting doesn't really get any wilder or better than that. He does voices amazingly well, as we all know. But I also listened to Paul Auster narrating some of his own books.
Yeah.
And he just reads them.
Yeah. Neil Gaiman does the same.
He just read his books, and he has a very distinctive voice. He had a very pleasant to listen to voice. I mean, he died not too long ago, but he had a very pleasant to listen to voice, but it was also very Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Like he had a very particular accent, and his books are also very New York, most of them. And it just fit so well. I loved listening to him narrate his own books. Anyone who's curious, if you can get Oracle Night, he didn't narrate all of his books. There are audiobooks of, I think, most of his books, but he didn't narrate all of them. But he did Oracle Night. I don't really remember what other ones. I listened to Oracle Night and 4321, which were narrated by him, and I just loved it. But yeah, I don't know if there's even much of a market for a narrator who has a pleasant to listen to deep voice who doesn't do voices. Who just reads.
I mean, we're both old enough to know there's a market for everything.
Yeah. That's
Finding it is the thing.
Yeah.
It makes me sad, Peter, that there's an AI version of Dungeon Crawler Carl, because obviously Jeff Hayes is phenomenal, and that an AI version even exists is just rude. I will say you can find easily on YouTube the fresh reads of Dungeon, like as he's working it out, as he's reading Dungeon Crawler Carl, and that is simply glorious. Watching that man switch from point of view to point of view and change those voices in the instant as he's reading.
Right. It's a real talent. I have a good voice. I know that, but I am not a voice actor. I don't have any experience doing voices, except in role-playing games where I usually also don't really do voices because I'm just not very good at it.
And the thing is, Jeff Hayes is a rarity. The only reason he is as phenomenal as he is because it's such a rare gift.
Yeah.
There are very few others at that quality. And he is simply astonishing.
Yeah.
And
hello.
Apparently is well worth it.
Hello, Amelia. Pleasure to see you here. I think you've been here before. I think I remember seeing you comment before. It's rare that people from Germany are actually interested in my channel at all.
And are up this late.
Well, I mean, the timing for Germany is sort of not that bad, but I think just because all of my content's in English, even though I speak German. So, guten Abend, Amelia. Schön dich zu sehen. But it's also, like you just said, late. I think I might close the pub.
Fair enough.
For this Sunday.
I might actually have breakfast. Then I can tick a box on
I recommend it. Go walk to a tree.
I will wait for it to be a bit warmer because it's quite cold.
Okay.
I will wait for later in the day for that.
Yeah.
But I am going to have breakfast.
That is excellent. Glad to hear it. Glad I could get you out of bed.
I very much appreciate it.
I'm always happy to swear at you to get you out of bed anytime you want. Just let me know. Okay. Everybody out there in the chat, thank you for coming. It's always a pleasure to see all of you. This is every week a high point of my week, hanging out with you folks and chatting and reading and all of that. I look forward to it every week. There will be, that's right. For anyone who didn't notice, I did a very spontaneous Monday pub this week. Just because I was like, I really feel like reading, but I keep not motivating myself to do it. And it's more motivating to do it if I know I'm doing it as some sprints with other people. So I threw up very spontaneously.
The spontaneous sprints.
Spontaneous sprints. Last Monday. I am not planning it either. So I will not promise that there will be a Monday pub, but I may do spontaneous sprints sometime this week. We'll see.
Anybody still after company today? It looks like Tori is about to go live.
There was just a notification in half an hour. Yeah. Tori is doing reading sprints, and thank you for 11,000 subscribers, apparently.
She deserves that. She's fantastic.
I will definitely stop by her sprint and say hello and congratulations, at least.
So
I recommend all of you go over to Tori's channel. If you don't know Tori and her channel, it is Tori Talks 2, number 2, I believe. Because she couldn't get Tori Talks. I believe it's Tori Talks with the numeral 2. Go have a look.
All right.
And
she'll be live real shortly.
Exactly. She'll be live in like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. I think on the hour probably. So everybody have a lovely week. Go and take a walk to a tree. Get outside a little bit, motivate yourself. This is, I mean, a lot of us, we've talked about it in the chat, and you and I, Derry, a lot of us have some mental health issues, and those lead to us not doing things that we know are actually good for us.
Yeah.
Push yourself a little bit and do the things
Yeah.
you feel like you don't want to do that you know are good for you. Go see some friends.
Thank you, everybody.
Go for a
that.
walk outside. Get
Yep.
the fuck out of bed,
Yep.
etc.
I did that. I
Yeah,
did that one.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And I've had some water, and I'm going to have breakfast, and I will go outside and
Yes.
punch a tree.
Yes, Bex. Cold Silver for Souls is good.
It
If you
is.
haven't read it, get it. It's Tori's latest book. She and I were texting yesterday, day before, and she's working on a novella in the Bruhai world again.
Yep.
So related to her previous book, The Bloodstones.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, Cold Silver for Souls, for anyone who doesn't know it, it's a Western about a woman who is a necromancer bounty hunter. And if that doesn't make you want to read it, you have no heart. So,
Pretty much.
yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah, exactly. So I will see all of you again at the latest next week for the Sunday Pub. Have a good week, everybody.